pledge allegiance to the flag
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. We just have a couple of council remarks. In executive session will come on February 23rd, 2026, from 5:32 p.m. to 5:43 p.m. regarding a parking exec personnel matter. And I'm going to safely assume that is 5:44 p.m. to 5:58 p.m. regarding a public works personnel matter. Also, an executive session was held on March 4th from 10 a.m. to 10:52 a.m. regarding a parking personnel matter, and 10:52 to 10:53 a.m. regarding a public works personnel matter. Federal fiscal year 2019 CV substantial amendment approval.
Good evening.
Jamie, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks.
All right, so this evening, we're here to take action to approve the substantial amendment number 4 to your 2019 CV annual action plan. As we talked about at the last meeting during our public hearing, we needed to change the national objective for the public service announcement activity from urgent need to low to moderate income area benefit in order to meet the 70% requirement to expend project funds on low to moderate income persons. So tonight, I just need your action to approve that, and we'll get it submitted to HUD.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we'll accept or approve of this. I don't know what to call it. What am I calling it?
Substantial amendment.
Substantial
Yeah.
amendment. Okay, great. Sorry.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, next we have citizens to be heard. Do we have anyone, Lisa?
I think there are a couple people in the room here for that topic. I don't know, if you would like to go first?
What about the house?
Yes.
Okay, my first question, I live right across the street. My first question is, what is the legal proceedings to condemn a house?
Lisa?
So the town took action on the actual condemnation back in 2024 on that property.
I live there.
Yeah, so, in order to do that, we needed to take photos and actually have a code purpose to do that. When we do that, it is posted on the property, we take photos, so we do have those on file.
So there was people inside the house.
At that time in 2024, possibly, but when it's condemned, no one should be in the structure.
When it was condemned, how was it condemned? The house was great on the outside.
I don't have those details here for you tonight.
Okay, I need to know. I need to know that.
Okay, if you leave me with your contact information, I can certainly get back in touch with you. Unfortunately, no one from our codes
Right,
department is
exactly.
here.
Anything?
Because if that house was condemned, there was nothing on the outside that would have said condemn this house. So can they just come and slap a thing on your house whenever they want? If they're not inspecting the inside, if nobody went inside, how could they put that sign on the window?
So typically in cases where you can't see it from the outside, there's comments or citizens complaining from the neighborhood. At that time, then code office would get involved and look on the interior. And that's not even an item where it might be a rental, it might not be a rental, so all cases are different.
That doesn't even make sense. They could slap that sign on without looking to see what's wrong with the house.
No,
No,
what they do
wouldn't
is
know.
they
So they
would,
did go in.
they would go in. I don't know whether they went in this case or not. Typically, the procedure for Ed would be if a complaint or is received or it's visibly a condition visible from the exterior, they would determine whether or not it violates an applicable code, and if it warrants a condemnation, if there's a notice of violation issued and it's not fixed, then they would issue a condemnation if it meets the level where it's an unsafe or dangerous structure.
Inside and take pictures.
Someone should have, I can't say whether they would have taken pictures, they probably should have, but if the condemnation was as a result of what was in the interior of the property, my assumption would be someone would have had to go in there to look at it.
Because the outside looks fine.
Well, it had to be an interior condition there, it can be condemned two ways, exterior conditions or
So my
interior.
question is
Citizens to be
is
heard.
there pictures of the inside of the house when it was condemned?
I don't know that.
Why would we not know that?
because I'm not the code enforcement officer, so I wasn't involved with the
Are there any
condemnation.
enforcement officers here tonight?
There are not. What I can definitely say though, we do have the right pictures on file and the house was stated condemned in 2025.
And we have pictures of the inside.
Sorry, July 2024, it was condemned. Correct,
And
we
there
have
were
those
of the
pictures,
inside.
correct. And your name for record is
My
Fran
name is
Peters?
Fran Peterson.
Okay,
Okay, so if there was pictures taken on the inside and you read the papers, everybody saw what was in there. Why did the town not go in there and clean that up knowing it was a freaking time bomb? Why?
legally, we were working on that, but there wasn't enough complaints to actually go in. There were complaints from the actual garage that there was a scent, an odor, but nothing strong enough that made the town act upon it. And this is
So
also
who is
people,
responsible for the property once it's condemned?
Still the
Still
owner's responsibility.
The owner can't get close to the house.
The record,
They're totally, they could not get close to the house. The owner could not. So who is responsible for that house?
the owners are responsible for the house. They can take steps to contact the town to repair it. I don't know whether they did or not once
Yeah,
it's
they did.
condemned. But once it's condemned, no one is allowed to enter the property.
Not even to clean it up when it is a time bomb for an entire neighborhood.
You're not allowed to, my recollection of the International Property Maintenance Code is once it's condemned, you're not allowed to have access to the property. However, I would think if they wanted to repair it, they would have reached out to the code enforcement
So
office
the
to make
town
arra-
cannot get a court order to go in there and clean up a time bomb.
to make arrangements to go in. I wasn't involved with any court order, so I can't answer the question that you just asked.
But the way that this usually works is, there's a homeowner that, you know, if their property gets to this point that it's condemned, we're generally trying to work with the homeowner to get it out of that space. These homeowners
Right.
passed away,
The last.
there's not even I mean, we talk about an owner, there's not an owner currently.
These are the steps of last resort. The
Right.
town always wants to try to work with somebody to bring it into compliance with the code. In this case, after the fire happened is when I got involved with it. And when the research, the current deed owners are both deceased. The property it should be in an estate now, but no estate was ever opened.
Right.
So, title is a little bit complex here.
Right.
So it can just sit there, put everybody's life in danger. When you all knew it,
So do you mean
you all knew what the place looked like inside with 4 foot of garbage, all kinds of combustion. You all knew that. And you can't get a court order to go in and clean that up. There's
Private
people
property.
living around there.
Well, again, even with a certain amount of complaints, it's not easy to get into someone's house unless there's an emergency.
Who is responsible for the house when the town condemns it?
That probably ours then. Well, no, not when we condemn it.
Yeah.
Condemn doesn't mean anything other than it's not habitable.
Somebody has to be responsible.
It would be the owner. This is where it's complicated, is because the owner dies
A
without,
year and a half ago,
owners died without a will.
you couldn't get court orders, you couldn't get this thing moving.
well, and just to clarify, we're not sure if there's a
Right.
will on the property. We're still going through a correct title search on the property. So the action here tonight is actually to take possible steps to actually demolish the structure. The reason why we handed out the flyers is to get the public involved in the process and also have any comments that the public might have in order for council to take action. It is a very legal, complicated situation. That way, if citizens are here on that topic here tonight, we encourage them to provide feedback and provide any comment that might help the 7 council members here to decide to take action on the demolition. But the
So,
town does not, even if we would demolish it, the town wouldn't take ownership of the property, just to be clear on that.
so for a year and a half, that place sat there as a time bomb with people living nearby. Nobody does the thing until the time bomb goes off.
There's several structures that are condemned in the town. And I'll leave it at that in the
Well,
sense
Fran,
that there's a lot.
it could have been condemned for a number of reasons. I don't know why this one particular one was condemned. They're
Well,
typically,
The outside you saw nothing, so they had to go inside.
all right, so there had to be an interior problem. What the interior problem was, I don't know. But to say it was a
But
time
read the
bomb,
paper.
Could you just let me answer the questions?
Paper isn't the Bible. Believe me, the paper writes a lot about us, it's not always correct.
Sorry,
Sorry, MJ.
Walking through 4 feet of garbage.
Ma'am, again, like, this is America, and we kind of respect people's property rights, like, the way that people keep the inside of their homes is none of our business until, you know, it
Until
becomes.
somebody gets hurt.
Exactly, and that's the problem. Yeah,
Think about all the borders.
yeah, there's all sorts of people that living in 4 feet of garbage. It's a disappointing situation,
Hey,
but
what
we're,
about the junk out back behind the garage?
I'm not,
Why was that not removed?
Of course, they've removed
Yeah.
a lot.
We've been mowing the lawn.
A lot.
we've been trying to maintain the property to what we kind of can.
Well, I can just tell you, I have apartments. And when I'm cleaning out an apartment, it happened twice, where they were really messy. They left so much junk. I started putting it out front to get a pile. Within 2 days, there was just something slapped on my door, get rid of this junk.
Mhm.
I said, I'm not done. But there was that junk sitting there for 2 years.
You're accessible. I mean, there were probably messages and left otherwise, but you know, when people die and the people that are next in line aren't technically the owners or and have their own issues, every situation's a little bit different. This is all unfortunate all the way around.
Unfortunate,
Yeah,
you endangered people's lives
we did not endanger anyone's lives. Those people
by not cleaning
who
out
left it that
house.
way endangered your lives.
Whoever condemned that house and saw that endangered people's lives. Absolutely. There was just no 2 ways about it. There was known squatters on there. Why was that not corrected? Why were the police not there that day and night? That's drugs. That's endangering the entire neighborhood. Why wasn't anything done about that? It was no fact.
They were there rather frequently. The person that was living there is in jail currently.
I know, and her son is not. And his partner
He
is
has
not.
nothing to do with the property though. The point
Yeah.
is, there is no one there. There is no one to take care of that property right now. But the owners are deceased, so
I live there. I-
son,
I know the
daughter,
whole family.
they have no ownership of that building. They're just living there and they can leave whenever they want to. That's what happened.
But
The
why, what,
son has,
squatters, that's drugs
you tell,
in a
could we call the
neighborhood.
police?
Yeah, who
I-
removed it from my house?
Just because somebody's a squatter doesn't make them drug
Oh,
addict.
give it a break. You know darn well, if there's a squatter, they don't have homes and they're on drugs.
I think there's some additional residents.
Yeah,
that
okay.
then-
I'm sorry for being like. Yeah.
What action do I have to go through to purchase this property? And I would gamble it, save a lot of headaches.
Well,
I would like to use it, I'm gonna tell you what I'd like to do with it.
yeah,
So we purchased a property across Market Street for a daycare. I'd like to make it a parking lot and clean it up. But I just need to know how I can go about.
well, this is
buying
where the
property.
difficult part comes, because they died without a will. There's not a direct line of who it is, it's still in probate, well, we think, like, this is what we're still trying to figure out is. I mean, Matt, you can better clarify this.
Yeah.
before
But I can't say whether there was a will or not. There very well could be one, but there's no probate has been filed. There's been no estate opened in the county. I believe the husband died first, then the wife died second. I checked the names in the courthouse records. There was no estate opened for her. So if there was an estate opened for her and she had a will, it would have been filed. It's possible she could have a will and there was no probate filed, but I don't know that because it's not filed anywhere. But you can't, right now, you can't buy the property from the town because the town doesn't own it. You would have to buy it from her estate, which is gonna be complicated because there is no estate opened. You would have to deal with who her next of kin are. And I believe when I read her obituary, there was at least one son, maybe more. I don't recall, maybe a son and a daughter.
Son.
I can't recall. So title to the property is in her
The
estate
daughter
now.
who's in jail and then there's one son.
Yeah, I know there were 2 children.
And is there a way to get a hold of this
Yeah,
man?
That's.
I don't
that's
have
her
any
grandson.
information on the
That was
man.
not her son, that was her grandson.
Okay, I don't know who was.
This is the difficulty that we're in right now, is that there's no clear line of how to best approach it, because if we knew who owned it, we would say, hey, this is dangerous.
Right,
We're gonna tear it down and you're gonna owe us. We can't figure that out quite yet. So what we're trying to decide to do here tonight is, we know that there's a, danger to the community down there. Do we make the decision to just tear it down and continue to sort it out? Maybe we get our money back, maybe we don't, but in the meantime, we're getting rid of the dangerous situation. Or do we try to give it a little bit more time and
How
until
long
it's
would
not?
it take to get it down?
Yeah. So. Anyone else?
How long would it
Yeah,
take
I'm
to
new
get
to
the
the
building
area.
down?
Ma'am, I think you've had your time. Let's let other people speak. We'll come back.
I'm new to the area, and I purchased a home right there on Barton, 264 Barton, and, I just renovated it, spent like $50,000, you know what I mean? And that smells horrible,
Yeah.
and I'm scared one of the kids or, somebody's gonna get hurt. So I'm just curious on what the, next steps are.
So at this point, the town did alert, the two children that are, known to the town. We provided the proper notices that, council may take action on demolition. If that action is taken up here tonight, the town will not own the property. It would just be able to have the structure demolished to the ground. And then from there, we did look into an eminent domain. However, that is too costly. That's at least 40,000 plus, and due to the legal issues that are remaining on the property and the deed, legal is saying and basically requesting the town not to go down that path because it's gonna take longer. That process is several months compared to maybe 1 month
Yeah,
to
'cause,
demolish it.
it's so bad now, it can't even be boarded up really, I mean,
Mhm.
you know.
Is there anyone online from the neighborhood?
Yeah, I think there's one, did you wanna speak? No. No, okay.
So how long is it gonna take to get the building down?
Depending if council takes action tonight, a month later possibly.
A month from now?
There's proper notices that have to be served.
So you can tell me that building's gonna be down in a month from now?
I can't say what council's gonna act on tonight, but possibly.
Sure you'd find a way if it was next to your house.
It is directly, almost directly in front of my house, so your concern is valid. And believe me, I do not want to look at that house any more than you do. I see it from behind, you see it from the front. It is much worse.
Across the street, so.
Yes, you are as well, that it is tough, y'all in the back there. It is not, it is unsightly, and I went down probably more than you do. So.
All right, is there anyone else on this topic? All right, other thoughts from council?
I have one more question.
Yeah,
So if you guys tear it down. What are you gonna do with it?
we're gonna put a lien on it probably until we figure out who owns to the estate. Or, we're gonna have to figure out.
I'm just asking you, what that next. And so you're gonna go in debt 15,000.
We had money set aside for demolition, because over the last several years, we've been putting money aside to revamp some of these properties if they get to this point. Like, obviously, the goal, if we condemn a house, is to work with the owner to get it back to not being condemned. We've had some success with some of those, sometimes. Situations like this, if someone dies and the family lives out of town or whatever, and they just let it go, it gets difficult because. The eminent domain route takes a long time, you don't really want to go that way, blah, 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 blah. But in this case, there's a whole bunch of unpaid taxes, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that if it goes to tax sale, someone's gonna have to pay back all the lien. We could put a lien on it as well to try to get our money back, to replenish that fund, but we do have budgeted funds for this, so
Okay.
it's not like putting us into debt to do it. If it hadn't burned and we still wanted to take the house down, we would probably prefer to go about it a different way, because if we could level it and sell it to you, we get our money back, great, we got that money to do another house.
Right. Yep.
But in this situation, because of the complication with how the whole thing just sort of came about, we might have to eat this.
The hope
No
and
one really wants to do that, but you guys obviously don't want us to take our time trying to figure it out in the meantime with the burned out house in your neighborhood, so,
I think,
we'll try to do what's right with you guys.
I think
Yeah,
the,
understand.
Yeah.
the hope in these kind of situations are, there's, substantial cost in doing the demo. if the demo occurs, the hope is always that maybe a neighbor or somebody with an interest in the property would then buy it and put it back into productive use. So getting the structure off of it is always the biggest and probably the best first step. Now, there's obviously probably some back taxes here that would have to be dealt with. I don't know how much they are. You have the demo cost, which would put a lien on the property, but of course, at the end of the day, the property has a value. What that value is, I don't know, and I don't know if the value of these liens are gonna exceed what the value of that property is. So, but that's what the town steps would be, is to demo it and put a municipal lien on the property for the cost of its demolition.
And just for reference, since, you know, we don't have these meetings a lot, the last time that we had a property that was condemned like this, that we thought, well, okay, it was going to tax sale, we'll try to buy it, get the house ripped down and, you know, flip the lot. Well, there was he was kind of out of state, wasn't he? Yeah, an out of state property speculator went and bid it up and ended up winning it without even knowing what they were getting, and then came like, well, we're gonna renovate it. Well, there's nothing to renovate. It was dumb. So sometimes even the best laid plans, you don't have control over in a situation like that because they're bidding online. So this is really not ideal in this, you know, course, because now we're gonna wind up with a flat property with a demo lien on it, plus all the back taxes, and, you know, I don't know what that, like, to Matt's point, who knows what that's gonna cost to buy for an empty lot now,
Right,
so,
that's in the flood.
exactly, it's real winter.
So unrelated, I live on Summit Avenue. They demoed a house below me on Millville 2 years ago, last year, I'm not sure. The person who owns it still owns it. I think they were given a lien, and so they're trying to sell this plot of land that actually still has a garage on it that is, I think, now condemned or had been condemned and was temporarily fixed, but basically also needs to get ripped down. The seller is trying to sell the plot for $20,000 plus what the town is now owed for tearing the house down. So once they can sort out who owns this property, that's basically how it works. So in my instance, the person still owns it. I think they also live out of state. They want like 20,000 for it. It's not worth 20,000. It's not that big of a plot of land. And it still has this garage that needs to get torn down. But basically they refuse to sell it for less than that. So at least now it's grass. So it looks much nicer than the house that was there, but that's how it worked in, like, over by me.
Right.
So if they can get it torn down, I'm assuming that they'll grass or seed it like they did by me, and it'll be a grassy plot until they can sort it all out and figure out who.
Well, the other situation that could happen is there's tax sales and there's judicial sales.
Mm.
So if we do all this work and the taxes don't get paid and, you know, it's and no one buys it or it just never sorts itself out, eventually it could go to judicial sale and then the taxes would get wiped, right?
Yeah, is with the town's municipal lien.
Right, with all the liens. But they don't hold those yearly or on a regular scheduled basis like they do tax sales, so. That's sort of the other situation that we run into some of these is, well, if you have to wait around for a judicial sale, that could be years, right? We don't really want that either, but that's out of our jurisdiction.
Understand.
Yeah.
And the other issue that you have with this property is you have a hidden lien that you're not gonna find out at the courthouse. When the female owner died, her two children, unless there's a will that comes out of the woodwork that we don't know about, there would have been inheritance tax that's due on this property. And at a minimum, it's 4.5% of whatever the value of this property was, and I don't know what the value of the property is. And it hasn't been, I think she died in 2022, so you have 4 years of interest that have accrued, so you have to deal with that as well. That's not like a mortgage that you're gonna see recorded on the property at the courthouse when you do a title search. That's a hidden one. So, that's one that, you know, is a little bit more tricky to deal with.
Hey, are there any other comments?
I would just say for the motion coming up too, I
Yes.
would let council know that in the title search, there could be a mortgage listed on the property, so we would also have to alert that entity if that is the case, and it would start a 30-day period. So just so council's aware of that.
Have we heard from a mortgage holder already?
Zillow didn't have any recent sales on it. It was from like the 70s or 80s, so hopefully it's paid off.
You
I'm
never
just
know.
saying, hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully.
Okay, well, any further discussion? Is there anyone who'd like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to, hire Shane Hawk excavating for the $11,800. I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. And then just for clarification for everybody here, Matt, how would this process go down?
Going forward, I don't know what the status of service of the NOVs are on the two, children. Whatever time period is, that the town will have to give them to demo has
And there's
to.
a violation?
Yeah, but well, it's a letter saying you're in violation of the town ordinance, you have to demo it within a certain period of time. They don't demo it, then it gives the town the ability to do that. And then you can put your municipal lien on the property when it's done. But I wouldn't go through that process until we have the search back, and we can see what else is out there. And then you can make a determination, you know, how you're gonna proceed at that point. But for now, you can make it contingent upon the results of the search being satisfactory, if you're gonna award this go forward.
But you've been searching a little bit already, like what do you?
Yes,
So that just so we have the neighbors here, what's a realistic timeline that it might not be exactly it. but-
typically title searches take us 2 weeks to get in, and this fire just happened last week, and I ordered a search last week, it hasn't come in yet.
Okay,
So hopefully, maybe this week or early next week, it should be in.
and
Search.
if that's clear, clear in the sense of there's nothing.
If there's no
Reach out.
if there's no mortgages on the property, then that gives the town some satisfaction. There's nobody ahead of you. You still have to deal with the lien of unpaid taxes. There's probably at least a year or 2 years of taxes that are delinquent on this. So that's still gonna be out there. You're not gonna be able to do anything about that. The town obviously could forgive its own. You still have the school district and the county to deal with. The school district is gonna be the biggest of the three taxing bodies. And then you have and I had alerted the town on this issue, the possible lien for inheritance taxes. What that's gonna be, I don't know. Typically, you have to find that out from the Department of Revenue. It takes months to get that information back, but you may very well proceed based upon that. You know,
And just to be clear, just to go back on the tax part, on this property, we checked with the county, there's over $11,000 of taxes. When taking out the town portion, it's 9,000. If town takes action on the demolition, we wouldn't have to touch the taxes. It would just remain and then file a lien for the
Yeah.
demolition.
right, and your lien is probably gonna be junior to the taxes.
Yeah.
Right.
Just so, when Matt's talking about the taxes, it's not really part of the process if council demolishes it.
Right, but okay, we get the search back this week, let's say,
Hmm.
Thursday. And everything seems like we have a path forward, we can get a hold of these guys, they can put us on the schedule, that might be a week, it might be the next day, who knows? But they'll show up and take care of it. There's a lien on the house then, and they will sit there, empty lot, with the hole filled in and the utilities turned off to that property until somebody buys it for the back taxes and the inheritance and the liens.
Or it's exposed to tax sale
Right,
and the taxes in the lien get wiped off. That's the other option at that point in time. So,
The quickest we could take action if council approves it is probably the second week of April in and around that time period.
take action on the demolition.
Correct. There's proper waiting periods that we have to wait out, so,
For notice.
correct.
Yeah.
So depending on even what Matt Trowski finds in the title search, we might have to serve another entity. And that's another period of time.
it's probably likely there's no mortgage company out here because this deed is very old. I think it goes back to the 70s, as somebody stated. I don't know if they took a home equity loan out or something. Yeah, it could be something different. I don't know.
Mhm.
So,
Like, we can move forward with demolition if we so choose to without the title search being done, or does that have?
I
to be
wouldn't
done
recommend
first?
I wouldn't
Okay.
recommend you do it without you getting the search back and reviewing the results so that you know what you're getting into and what your position is gonna be on the property.
So the motion is written contingent upon completion of a title search.
Okay,
Even if we go that route, is there any way they could bring a lawsuit, any of them back on the town?
Anybody-
For us demolishing.
Anybody can sue anybody for anything today, but it's all about notice and procedure and process. If you've given them 30 days and they haven't appealed your order, they're gonna be, they're gonna be pretty well stuck going forward. and try in terms of challenging what you're doing. Especially since the building is probably been declared a total loss, I would assume based on the fire inspection. I don't know. It's more questionable if you're condemning it for an unsafe structure. On the outside, it looks fine. You don't know what it looks like on the inside. Well, this is pretty apparent what this, I guess, looks like. So.
And smells of.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we have motion second. Is there any other discussion or concern, questions otherwise from council? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, we've got the ball rolling for you guys and does anybody have any other questions as far as the process? While we're here and we got the lawyers and everybody else? Realistically, we're talking a month,
Minimum.
Thank you.
okay? All right. And if there's any other information that comes out that, I mean, if there's a way that somebody would wanna, if there's a way to purchase it in the meantime, we would be not be opposed to that.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to deal with the estate,
Right.
not the town. The town's not involved in the sales process.
Okay? All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming as well.
Yeah, much appreciated. Okay, next is Miss Amber Fisk. Are they here? Are they online?
Yep, Amber's online.
Amber, can you hear us?
Yes, sorry, I'm trying to unmute. Can you hear me?
Got you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just here to state concerns about the bus safety that I have been in contact with Lisa about. I live on Millville Road and cars are constantly flying past my house. There's 2 bus stops, one on either side of the road. I don't know how to move forward. I have talked to the police station and they've done a fantastic job checking in. They've been sitting the last couple weeks, which I truly appreciate because it does slow people down. They haven't really seen the full picture because the times they have sat, they haven't seen anybody fly past the bus. I just don't know like what the procedure is to move on from here.
That's a good question. It's long straight road going out of there.
Yes.
Speed limit's only 35 though, and
Well, it depends on.
No,
where-
the speed limit,
no, I'm just saying, I agree that.
It's 35, which turns into a 45 when you get down over the hill. If there
I agree
was,
that they-
appetite to change that, you would have to do a speed study and it's a state route. It's not a
Yeah.
town route.
I don't
So-
think she's complaining about people going 45.
So we have officers that go out there and we're checking for the school bus violations as far as speed. We've had them out there periodically over the last week or so. And unfortunately, they haven't seen any violations passing the school bus. I think Amber had already brought that up. So we'll continue to monitor the traffic situation out there. But as far as like violations yet, we haven't seen any as far as going past the school bus.
yeah.
Is there signs out there
Or
for the school buses?
Or is that
There's
a
no
state-
signs stating that there's a couple stops throughout on Millville Road. There's no signs stating that there's a bus stop to where we are. And I don't know that I've seen any going out further on Millville Road either.
So we met with the LTAP engineer on Friday, more so for Light Street.
Would you like to just explain LTAP?
Yeah, so LTAP is basically the entity that we have to contact when there's a speed study requested or any type of signage requested, especially on state routes or even a stop sign placement. So the engineer was on site Friday to look at the area and basically we'll review it to see if it qualifies for school bus stop ahead. We did get news that in order for that sign to be placed, it would have to be 500 feet of obstruction. So because it is such a clear sight and distance and it's wide open, we're not sure if we'll actually get that. We'll hear back at Amber, as I mentioned to you on Friday, probably within the next week or two on that.
Okay, thank you.
So on the agenda here this evening, it's any motion if council wants to ask for a speed study. And that would be a new item placed on the portal with LTAP. The cost is free, but the news that we got back from the engineer is basically saying that it's a PennDOT road and there's not a lot of houses within that area, so it most likely it might come back as 45 and it remains 45.
Yeah.
So,
If you remember, we had a gentleman about a year ago.
Two people come every year.
Yeah, they come for that stretch of road. Maybe a speed study would,
Well, but the speed study is just gonna suggest the speed for the road and they're not following the signs. The
Right.
sign doesn't slow them down, you know? We're not gonna we can't make the road wavy
yeah.
or more difficult to drive.
So we have the digital one on the list there for.
we
Yeah.
do, yeah, I think Chief Fossey said he has it set for, Fifth and,
Fifth and Railroad, we have to do a speed study down there for, the stop sign request. So it's going down there first. And the only place in that general area would be down where it gets flat, not on that hill that we could sit the speed sign, just because of distance berm. And there's a ditch there.
To make that a 4-way stop then? Okay, at Fifth and Railroad.
Yes.
I do have another question I think specifically for you.
Okay.
Can citizens do anything, not going after people, but like recording people going too fast, passing the school bus?
I mean, passing the school bus, obviously, that's helpful if we see the car passing a school bus, because we can use that. If you record a car going past you, that doesn't tell me how fast it is. Right? So you have to be certified, you've got to time a car, so you can't just take a video and issue somebody a traffic citation for speed.
For speed,
Yeah,
Speeding,
yeah.
but if they're passing a school
they're
bus,
passing a school bus. I
that's
mean,
clear,
yeah.
a clear violation.
As long as we can, again, as long as we can identify. the
Right.
driver.
Yeah.
Then the buses don't currently have any kind of recording devices on the outside to catch. people
No,
passing.
that's just what I just learned that recently, that our school buses don't.
Okay,
our school district did apply for a grant. They're still trying to get that grant, that way cameras can be placed on the outside of the school bus. And, Amber, like I mentioned, any type of support that citizens want to write into the school, they can use that for their application too.
Yeah, and I do have a question. If I set a camera up in my yard pointing towards his bus stop, and I have that as documentation, are you guys allowed to use that, or is that not something that you would be legally allowed
It
to
would,
use?
it would really depend on the camera, video.
Okay,
that
yeah.
you're providing me.
Okay,
Did you hear the comment from the last, it was almost a similar question, is that like, if you had video of someone passing a bus, that would be certainly something that would be actionable, but we're not gonna be able to use that for speed.
right, not for the
purposes.
speed. I understand that. That I
Okay.
understand.
Gotcha.
We have to be able to identify basically the car license plate
Yeah,
number.
license plate, yeah,
You gotta see who's
Yeah.
actually doing the violation. You can't
Yeah.
just,
right.
So this is one of those things that, and to Mr. Garment's point, we've had people in your neighborhood on that road come in on several occasions because people do drive pretty quick out there. Our local police officers are not allowed to use radar. So the area that we have, that has to be lines that are set up there, our timing has to be calibrated, all those sorts of things so that we're, writing legitimate tickets to people. And I feel like at least like this is one of those situations where the safeguards to protect people from getting unnecessary tickets really complicates our ability to enforce this oftentimes too, because we only ever really have 3 people on at a time. They get called other places and it requires sitting out there physically to be able to time those speeders and get them at the times that we're able to be out there. And it's not always at the time that people are speeding necessarily. So it's a difficult situation there, but if you're having particular issues with people operating unsafely around the school buses, certainly if you could get us video of that, that would be excellent.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions? Sorry that we don't have a much better answer for you.
No, that's okay. I mean, I really think that if we can help in some way, I'll just spread the word to get on the school district about putting cameras on the bus signs. I mean, that's really the ultimate solution, I would think.
Yeah, if they're passing them, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I called in, it was February 25th because it was my son's birthday and 3 cars had passed, the bus was stopped and I was really upset. Like it happens on a weekly occurrence. And again, you can't pinpoint what day somebody's going to do it, but 3 in one day was really upsetting.
I think one person does it, and there's fault.
Yeah.
We did
So-
check with the school district that is picking up the kids from the house side. So that's happening at least for Amber's sake. But
Yeah.
I think as far as we can take it, you know, we'll work with PennDOT engineer to see if we can get the school bus signs out there. And then the only other request that council would need to take action is if you guys want to do a speed study out there.
I mean,
It might be more for the school who I don't know is necessarily represented here, but could the bus like angle across both lanes to like try to, no, to block it better? Okay.
No.
Okay,
They also have to.
I swear my buses used to do that, but I didn't go to school in this county, so I don't know.
Okay, is there any motion then to submit for a speed study on Millville Road? Okay, then we'll just get to, Amber, please continue to interface with the police there and, any help you need with the school, we'll be happy to, help with it as well.
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next is Tori, it won't be present, but submitted a letter, I think all of us received. And Chief said that we put the counter on Glen Avenue there as well.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other, that's another area that we get people come consistently.
I guess the question, would there be any use for a speed study there? Has one ever been done there?
It's just what, 15? Up there?
25.
It's already very, it's already low.
It's already low.
Yeah. I mean, they get students cutting off to go to class, they get people at the hospital and the concern like that, they've said.
There's,
Yeah,
so speed study wouldn't do anything. There's really nothing that we can do other
Just
than.
an enforcement.
We'll put our speed trailer up there, which we'll see how many vehicles are actually traveling the road and get an idea of that and go from there.
Sounds good.
Me walking in the street.
okay. Be able to turn things, yeah. Okay, next is a resolution, 309/2026-01 for flood awareness, by flood insurance for the week of March 16th, 20th. And motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Moved and seconded. Charlie?
This goes along with our, flood task force and the, plan for public improvements where we send out that education. And so we tag into the national program and we do, that week we do, daily posts on the different topics that, impact the town the most. One of them being insurance, that we want to make sure people have the flood insurance. We do have that 20% discount that we've been able to earn. So if we get the national flood insurance policy, so, this is one of the reasons and why we have the credits that we got by earning by doing outreach and education. So decided to direct outreach, send a recycling calendar, fact pages, direct outreach, the letters to the floodplain residents and direct residents behind the flood letters. This is another means to hit the social media and hang on to that and get all the information, trying to show people. We did a pretty good job of putting all that information on our website, whether for contractors, for buildings, or how to rebuild the floodplain and all that, people know that.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Mhm.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next is approval of the council minutes from the February 23rd, 2026 meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any additions or subtractions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next is approval of the special council minutes from March 4th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additions or subtractions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, on the department reports. Those directors not here yet.
I believe he was,
You can jump on.
maybe not. He was online, but I think he dropped off then, but.
Okay, we'll move on to the others if he gets them by the time the others are done. We'll move on to the police. Fonzie?
You'll see the police reports in there. You guys have any questions about those at all? We'll say with this warm weather coming in, definitely the student activity has picked up over the last weekend. They celebrated St. Patty's Day.
Have a real good time this evening.
And they did, seemed like they had a, you know, a good time, generated quite a few calls for service.
The creek cleanup people had a pretty good time on Sunday too. Any questions for Chief? Okay. Public works. Great.
As we're gearing down from snow finally, getting all the equipment, cleaned out, repairing issues with all that stuff away. We brought the, grinder up from compost. We went through, replaced the bad teeth on it. A couple of parts on the inner parts of the machine that were metal that we're getting those replaced. We have like plastic, inserts in and replace, unattract welds. That redone. So that machine's gonna go for another year. And then that, 1 year, yeah.
They pull that in every year for this?
I've applied for a replacement 2 years ago, yeah.
Well, I know, so but the maintenance as far as this goes is the first I feel like I'm hearing that it's been this extensive.
Oh, yeah,
This annual?
there was a lot of stuff bad on it. We separated. There were some plastic pieces that, it's Sakasubi. There's a company out there, they donated plastic for us.
Oh, good.
Great.
Replace that, so. Yeah, so we got that going, that'll be ready for this season. The snow in the parking lots, one parking lot is completely gone. And the other parking lot's 80%, we kind of moved stuff around, that should be melted, but it's in winter. So our solid's good, our parking lots are good to go. We brought the sweeper out, street sweeper out a little early, getting all the cinders picked up. Like that, yeah. You know, trash, stuff like that.
We wanna go over the snow analysis then?
Yeah, so you want to do it? Go ahead. Yeah, so Jack ran some numbers, we based it off of when the storm started. And we went 2 weeks out. So it includes regular hours, overtime hours, our site costs, anti-skid costs, and then the rentals for the Sokol trucks. When we did Main Street Place. Our total cost was $46,000 for 2 weeks. So it was quite a lot.
One thing that doesn't have indirect cost in it. The fuel costs, workers' compensation, social security, all that type of thing.
Yeah, their overtime hour cost was 13,500.
And that's just for.
That was their 2 weeks. So we were out there working.
I didn't get another.
Yes.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and that was just kind of an idea. What the storm of that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you putting that together and you as well. I don't think we haven't done that in the time I've been here.
No one else either. But if you guys wanna, we talked about it, like next storm, have it tracked, that way we don't have to have the ask, we can just present it, so.
Hopefully no more snow.
This Sunday.
What are the people with these leaf blowers? Okay. Any questions for Mr. Briggs?
I just wanted to ask when the street sweepers will start doing regular runs again.
Today,
They started last week.
what's the same?
Okay, what about Summit?
Summit,
Yeah,
should be, they're already starting again this week.
okay.
So if he didn't get something, there's just, because there's so much anti-skid now, we're not able to get the actual everything done.
We're not on your regular route, that's why I'm asking.
Oh, you remember?
No,
Oh,
because I'm in town, but I'm not in town, so we get kind of forgotten about. Yes, yes, okay, because the downhill, I slid,
Oh, and the anti-skid.
yeah.
Anti-skid is.
Well, because it's in snow, it was when there was, and I get it.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Okey-dokey. Thank you. Recycling, Prince.
Thank you. In the package, information, you can just snap it in time of where we're at. Two most important things that I'd say this week is compost sites open on Wednesday, 4 o'clock. On Saturdays, they have hours are 8 to 2. And then Saturday at recycling will be our first of our 3 shredded days where residents can bring household files to be shredded. And no cost.
Okay, any questions for Charlie? Okey-dokey. I'm gonna jump over the fire guys real quick. Is the airport, anyone from the airport is staying on?
Dan cannot make it. He was planning on attending. He had a priority that he had to attend, but his report is in the packet. Probably the status updates 4 through 9 is really what took place there in the last month. So if you have any questions, Dan's doing great. I know he's part-time, but he's very much hands-on, so.
All right, man of the hour.
did we order more fuel?
Yes.
Throw a little,
Yeah, so we did order another fuel load. Dan was watching the prices. Obviously, we had to purchase when, you know, the prices are up, but luckily we got it in before they keep going up, so. It had to be increased by 17 cents to the pilot, so not terrible. I know I've seen an increase on the regular side of fuel, so 17 cents was an increase to the pilots.
Mr. Everett. Any report?
Just been busy processing a bunch of permits, been out doing some inspections and site visits with some of the folks doing projects, they've been pretty busy. Kicking off the building and renovation season, and certainly with fire, which I'm sure you've discussed at length. It's taken up some time, but all things are going smooth.
Okay. Does anybody that's here about the fire have any questions about the process? Okay. All right, fire report. Seems like you got your system up and running.
Yes, like there's 2 reports that came in. Yeah, had to be sent separate. I apologize, Lisa. I kind of sent him over and bombarded her.
I think there was 18.
I saved this for last because usually there's, you know, it's a page report. We got about 15
No,
this
it's
time.
a separate email.
I thought we would give the firemen as much time as they wanted to go through this pile of paper.
If there's, these are the standard reports. I tried adding some extra reports, stuff that was, you hadn't seen in the past. So there are breakdowns by major incident, which is what we had before. There are breakdowns by manpower hours, hours on the call. So it gives you a broader spectrum of the activities, how much time spent, response times. So it gives you a little bit more of a broader picture of everything, not just throwing out some statistics. We've been busy fighting fire, obviously, not just in our location, but we've been out mutual aid. We've been doing some training, actually quite a bit of training, and a lot of AFAs, a lot of fire members. So it's been busy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do apologize, a couple of days before our major snowstorm, you had contacted me about trying to get together and look at this. With the snowstorm coming and stuff, that just did, we actually shoveled hydrants for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Because they got cleaned out, they got plowed in, they got cleaned out, they got plowed in. So we were out, we had 2 crews of probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 guys that were out cleaning out hydrants throughout the storm. There were some residents that did really good jobs keeping them clear in their neighborhood. And then other ones, like literally, there's a hydrant right up the street. We had to get out and chop down to find it. We couldn't find it. It took us 15 minutes to find it because we looked at our map and it wasn't there, and we ended up digging a giant hole to find it. It was buried. It was actually buried probably with everything that came off the sidewalk, coming off the street. The top of the hydrant was 3 feet under the snow. So we got it, but
would there, you know, you mentioned that some residents are better than others. Would it be worthwhile? These don't happen every year, but would it be worthwhile to have some type of like adopt a fire hydrant type program?
you know, that's been brought up in the past, and it's not a bad idea. We actually tried in anticipation of the storm, putting out notification that, hey, you know, be a good neighbor. This could save us some time, could save your house, kind of thing. That, you know, you want to make sure you got 3 feet of clearance around the fire hydrant. Some people took that, you know, to heart. Some people I think they just don't think that it's theirs, you know what I mean? We had some youth down at the west end of town that they went out and they were digging out hydrants, which was really good, so overall, I'm probably, what would you say, maybe 40% of the hydrants we actually had to dig out. Maybe about 40% of the hydrants we actually had to dig out. So the majority of them were kept open. And we did get some calls direct to the firehouse, hey, this is blocked back in again. So we had, like I said, we had 2 crews on staff. We just went out and we cleaned them out. So that's part of our pre-plan. We actually pre-plan for that kind of stuff, that when it happens, usually we've got a crew of people at the station, you know, to make sure that we're out doing what we do. And thank Brady's crew, because there was so much snow. Our ice melt system, which allows us to get out the door, was creating about 4 foot of slush at the end of that. And it wasn't all the way out of the street. And they had a plow truck come down and try and swipe that away, and he was pushing a lot. I mean, it took him probably half an hour to get that lump of snow pushed to the west or the south side of the street. It really, I won't say that it wouldn't have impeded us, it would have been a heck of a bump going out the door, but we were trying to do everything we could do. Snow thrower wasn't cutting it up, we were shoveling like crazy, so, you know, kudos to them for giving us a hand there. Yeah. Right, if you guys, like I said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I would like to appreciate everybody that assisted us with that fire on the west end. The police were there rapidly. They were there by the time I was getting out of my house, which is usually really quick. They were getting on scene. I had to call Brady earlier that morning because the water that we used got on the roadway, created a giant ice slick, so we needed some anti-skid put down on Barton Street in West Main. For safety purposes, they came out and they did that. But we had probably one of the best turnouts that we've had in a long time. We had 3 fire trucks on scene within 9 minutes, and we had water on the fire rapidly. So, yeah, we had 22 members that were out at 1:30 in the morning. So that was really, I think it was exemplary. Yeah. Like I said, our response time was spot on. We got out the door, it was 8 minutes out the door with full crew of 6, and then we had 2 subsequent apparatus 3 minutes apart from one another. So, and they were staffed as well, so good response. Yeah, code enforcement was out, they came out first thing in the morning. Take a look at the property, kind of went over utilities, whether or not they were secure or not secured. In that process, so. You did bring him, and thank you. Mike asked if there's anything that he could do, and I said, yeah, bring us breakfast, because we were sitting there the whole night. So he did, he showed up with breakfast. Kudos to him for that. So, yeah,
Well, nice group effort. Thank you, everybody who was involved.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you know, it's a good example. We don't have these events on the regular, but you guys certainly step up when need be.
well, so Codes has been really good about getting us the condemned properties in town, blighted properties, to let us know, because that's something that we take into consideration. And this property in itself, we had actually trained pre-planned on a tabletop about a week or two ahead. We had pre-plans, what if something happens to that part of town? And the reason what it was driven was because we've got hydrants in that area on the north side of Main Street that are garbage. The one is actually bagged at Leonard Street, and then the next one down, I think, is Mary Avenue. That is actually a red and yellow hydrant as well. So we actually have a little swath of town right there that's not got the best hydrant setup. So if we have to hit a hydrant, it's gonna be on the opposite side of Main Street, which therefore shuts down Route 11. And everything worked the way it was supposed to, because we had traffic shut off at Leonard Street. We called for a little bit of assistance, because normally our fire police would be able to take care of it, but with it being 1:30 in the morning, we called for Buckhorn. They actually shut Route 11 down and cycled everybody up to Buckhorn and kept them off of West Main Street. So, yeah, it worked, put that way. So.
Is flooding part of the issue with the hydrants down there, or just old infrastructure?
It's old infrastructure.
Okay.
It's subpar lines, substandard lines.
That's the
Those were actually identified during the PUC. The PUC made them identify those hydrants when they asked for their rate hike. So they went around town and they flowed the hydrants. Once again, this is information that we can't get. You know, the hydrants were flowed in town. The flow rates were there. Because the PUC came back and said these are inadequate for firefighting capabilities. So they painted them red and yellow. So now we know not to hit them. And not a week ago or so, I had actually had a conversation with Tate from Veolia that said, you know what, if you have some other projects in town, you may want to consider looking at the west end of town, because that area down there is, it's not. One thing we did find from the fire was the two hydrants that we hit at the corner of Pine Avenue and the one out at Barton, Maine, were absolutely phenomenal. The one out on Main Street in Barton, we were flowing 3 hand lines off that truck and we didn't even have the idle brought up. The fire truck that was back on Pine Avenue was running 2 hand lines off of that, and we really weren't even trying with that one either. So the water supply down there is good, and from previous projects, we know that's probably 8-inch line that's in the ground. So that's the only way, that's honestly, unless we're the creepers that are following these construction crews around, that's the only way that we're getting knowledge of what's in the street. Is we're following them around trying to figure out what size fire lines are in the street that are servicing the communities. Because other than that, it's kind of a guessing game. So that's what we're dealt with, and I hate to say it that way, but literally you could have 2 hydrants that look identical, 300 feet apart. One of them's on a 14-inch line, one of them is on a 6 or an 8-inch line, and you don't know. We just don't know. So we hit them and then we collect it. So like now we'll put in our back pocket that we know those 2 hydrants are really good hydrants.
Okay, is there anything else in the chief?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would add in, Scott and I talked quite a bit about when they go out to these false alarms, he's not afraid to call our office. And we address a lot of them, so some of what you don't ever see is those conversations that we have in cases we'll open based on what they find, but we wouldn't normally see that, so. I would be thankful for what they do, because who knows how many incidents that they've saved by being proactive, and a couple trouble alarms. I feel bad for these guys. One property they went out to like 20, 30 times. A lot of it because of old alarms and trouble alarms, so the fact that we can make some progress and try to help them out, because they're gonna volunteer fire department, and I have paid for them, so. They've been very good, and staff will review reports sometimes that we send their way, like, hey, what's this mean on a sprinkler report? Because I know that they have that expertise, so there's a lot of other side that I don't think everybody gets to see what they do, and that's just appreciated, I think, by my office as well.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next section is, number 2, Administrative Finance Committee. First item A is recommendation to approve the February list of bills.
So move.
Seconded. Are there any questions or concerns? Anything you want to touch on?
We already touched on the snowstorm. That was a major incident in the list of bills.
Okay.
So we covered it.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item B is a recommendation of the Code of Ethics and Conduct for elected and appointed officials.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? Is this one different from what we've had?
Yeah.
It's the same document, but since we have 3 new council members, I just wanted to make sure that's the same document you wanted to continue using.
Okay.
So we can circulate it and get signatures if you vote for it tonight.
Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item C is a recommendation of a public comment and participation policy resolution 392602.
I'm going to approve.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item D is approval of the designer acknowledgement and flag adoption agreement.
I'm going to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item E is approval of official town flag, resolution 309/2023-03.
Yeah, Liz has her hand up, sorry.
I just wanna know what page, if it's in this document for the public approval and comment.
The
Public
policy.
comment and participation policy,
What's that?
what page is,
Oh, I see what you're saying, like in the document?
yeah,
That one was 02, so that is on page 42.
thank you.
Yep.
Great. Aiden,
Right,
give us your spiel one more time.
full spiel?
Yeah.
I
From the top.
I have had some gripes with the way I've seen the flag talked about in the paper and. Then you're in the right room. People keep cutting out parts of when I describe the flag. And actually, I saw a comment on Facebook that I forgot to mention that you said that the maroon color is not meant to represent the university or the high school or anything by itself. It's also supposed to be the town colors. It's supposed, because it's on the color on the website is this color. I also chose a darker shade because it looks better, not because I wanted to make any statement about the university. I feel like that should be on record because I know I'm a university student, so I feel like I get a lot of flack from the citizens in town who don't like the university.
Well, anyone essential.
The description and the meaning and everything in the flag is actually in the agenda, right? I saw it in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
So is the agreement that was actually already approved by the town, so I don't really know what much else to say.
What motivated you to want to do this?
I was in 10th grade in high school at Central Columbia, and I don't know, I just saw that there wasn't anything really, actually, I don't think even Columbia County has any symbols or anything, but the town that I used to live in Pittsburgh originally, and Pittsburgh has a really well-known flag, and I think it looks good. And I have links to this town. My grandma taught at the elementary, middle school, and high school. My grandfather taught at the university. My family has slight links to the town, so I figured it'd be a good idea.
All right. You're also road theory, huh?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's going proudly waving that flag later after the admin finance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lighting up on campus.
I did a 6-mile walk. I wanted to see everything the whole way down Market.
Did
Love
you?
Yeah.
Love it.
And I would also like to officially give this copy of the flag to the town, and there's 5 more being made and they're on the way.
Oh, okay. Dan Noor reached out and wanted to help out with that as well, so send the bill to him.
I should.
Thank you, sir. We'll get that hung up in here and like you spoke in the meeting as well, we'll get one blown up in front of town hall.
Thank you.
Sure. I'm exhausted. Where'd it go?
Well, if you're asking Dan Nor, we do need a flag stand, so you can add that. I'm kidding.
I think we just put it on the wall.
Yeah, it's not the right size to go on a pole like those two.
Well, there you go. Hang it.
Hang it.
Great.
Right.
We need some hugs.
Yeah. Tomorrow, get it done.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's nice when young people take the initiative.
Actually, I already put it on the Wikipedia page for the town.
Yeah.
Well, I'm betting on Tulsi or something that we were gonna approve it.
Get a pretty good feeling.
Okay, item F is approval. Did we vote on that yet? Okay, all in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, item F is approval to provide 3 individual pool passes as prizes for the Shade Tree Commission's Arbor Day artwork competition for grades 3 through 5. 3 through 5.
Second.
Seconded. Who pitched this? It's great.
Yeah, so Brandon Ball, we attended our last shade tree meeting and he came up with some ideas. And this was one of the ideas, so typically we plant a tree, but this one will be an art contest.
All right. Okay. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item G is approval to purchase a clover machine through PNC in the amount of $699 to use at the Norris Rock Memorial Pool to track revenue and determine whether the pool will accept cash or operate as cashless facility for setup purposes.
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Okay, and this coordinates with the whatever other payment thing we're doing. Or does
So.
Clover take over for it?
So we were doing hard copy tally sheets, so this would be an updated Database, yep, and it has its own data plan, so we don't need internet at the pool.
Right,
Yes.
right, so then we can create different barcodes to cash versus cards, we can track to see the viability of potentially moving down the road doing cashless.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
What's a Clover machine?
It's like a square or a.
Square.
I mean,
It's a smart register.
App, basically.
Yeah.
We
So
can,
like you
They
use
can still
for.
pay
the
cash,
farmer's
don't
market,
worry, they can still pay cash.
so.
It's just a way to track it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it around.
so we can like pre-set up codes to make it manually, that way if someone comes in the door, there's an actual selection versus just a paper copy being written down.
It's a POS system rather than a tally sheet.
okay.
Yeah.
This is not gonna be used for the food portion of it.
That is a separate conversation that won't be tonight, but no, it could be if needed, but.
If needed, yeah.
You didn't already commit to that camp, did you?
Yeah.
We have a
We'll
job,
talk later.
we have a job for you.
Trust me, I might listen to you because I just got the schedule if I want to be working and it's like 7:30 AM to 8:30 PM.
Oh, yeah. Won't be that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, thank you. Item H is a recommendation from the Human Relations Commission to accept the resignation of Stephanie Kolakowski.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, thank you. Item I is approval of the 2026 pay adjustments. Any motions to specify the employee names, rate increase and effective date?
I move to give Tracy Kishbaugh and Wade, oh my God, I'm gonna mess this up. Mac. $1.50 an hour increase.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Could I just,
Aye.
ask the effective date? Is that gonna be for tomorrow or do you wanna set?
When's the next pay period start?
We typically.
We just started Sunday. I think. This should be the next.
You wanna go forward or back?
It's your motion.
My motion?
I think it should be like this, starting like this week.
Okay,
Like
so then I'll
Early
move
beginning of this pay
to
period.
move it for,
You start on Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday through Saturday.
yeah, so March 8th.
You need one?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item J is approval of not hiring a part-time parking enforcement officer for 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item K is a recommendation to approve quote from Amazon in the amount of $2,369.85 for streetlights.
Second.
Moved and seconded. These are for down the park.
Yeah, these are the ones that we talked about, replace the rest of there's street, there's some in the park, there's some in a couple of parking lots.
Okay. I just want to clarify that we're not putting Amazon on the actual street.
Yeah.
In our parking lots, in the park. Okay. All right, any other questions? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item I is approval to establish a budget range for a new drone vendor for 2026. The background on this is that we originally selected a vendor at $10,000. They have withdrawn from being able to do our event. We've gotten a full refund for the money that was paid, and current quotes for a drone vendor for the 2026 event range from $30,000 to $40,000. Happy birthday, America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moved.
So there's some other options listed here. Town council authorized staff to engage in drone vendor with the $30,000 to $40,000 budget range. Town council holds regular fireworks for the July 3rd event, where town council partners with Williamsburg Fair. So originally we were gonna have our event on the 3rd, because the fair is having an event as
Right.
well. Okay, I guess, let's, if someone would like to make a motion, let's do that, and we'll go. So,
Sorry, I said so moved, sorry. Second. And we can talk.
okay. All right, we're moving second. I think it'd be worth exploring partnering with the fair.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think, we were not planning on budgeting $30,000 to $40,000. I think we all like the idea of the drone thing for many
Yeah.
different reasons. But
Next year.
yeah, I think that there'll be more vendors next year that would be in this marketplace.
Mhm.
And I think probably the best thing that we can do is try to engage the fair and have one big event that everybody goes to. We've been really happy to have things in the park the last couple of years, and we see you've done a great job of putting things together there, but you know, the schedule's getting tight and we don't have fun.
I have had in the past, some of the vendors that we've had at the town park ask me why we didn't keep it down at the fairground. After we had it when East Street was closed down, we didn't hold it in the park.
Oh, right.
So we held it at the fairground. And the vendors, I think a lot of the vendors like it better down there. At the fair, there's some of the complaints I did get at the time.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
anybody else have those suggestions? We don't have one made yet.
Yeah, I'll
Has
make.
anyone
a motion.
approached the fair?
I did call Randy, Karshner. Randy is on board. I know Justin, you had mentioned that suggestion. Their event starts on July 4th at 4 o'clock. They're looking to do possibly 2 musical bands from 4 to 6 and then 6 to dusk. So, yeah, any contribution council would like to make to that event, it would be held on July 4th. If council's interested in number 2, Sky Shooters is booked for the 3rd, 4th. They do have availability on July 2nd or 5th. But I don't know if you guys truly want to duplicate events, especially with EMA resources. I know I was trying to do it not on July 4th, but,
We've, like I said, in our discussion, we've become accustomed to doing on the 4th, wherever it's at. You know, and the only complication that we would bring up would be the getting people out of the fairground. Because if you have it at the fairgrounds, like traditionally, I mean, when we have it down at the park, the fire police goes off a certain area and we have a good perimeter, we know what to expect. Down there, we're in a fenced in area or a private area, which we know what to expect. But I think we drew a larger mass crowd at the fairgrounds. So now you're gonna end up with the same situation we have at Cover Bridge or Fair, and it's probably gonna be worse. Because they're all gonna wanna leave the fairgrounds at the same time. So I said, I'm okay with it, I'm good, we can provide whatever, except for when it becomes off the ground, and that would be collaboration with Chief Fozzie on. How do you manage the traffic getting off the fairgrounds? What gates does the fair allow open? Where do we want? Because I know the last time we had it there, they opened up the gate on 6th Street to let some people out behind McGee, or on the Neon, as well as opening up the all main event area out of the gates, but getting it onto Route 11, there's just a massive amount. I think people were probably waiting in line almost an hour to get off the grounds. So, I mean, and it is what it is.
what
but
it
just-
Yeah.
The problem is when you get that massive amount of people, they become intolerant to wait. And now you get people dodging out into traffic, which is why they do it during fair week. So, you know, that would be the only consideration is how that's managed.
Let's get that cat.
Yeah, we'll have to have a discussion with the fair.
Yeah.
When it comes closer to time, but it's essentially the same thing for, like Scott said, Cover Bridge and the fair.
Okay.
Until we get a red light.
All right.
Until we get a red light. Is this gonna be like a collaboration effort? If we go into detail with the fair?
I don't know what council would like to do.
I see more as a donation for what they're doing.
Only reason why I say that is because they shoot off the fireworks in the middle of the racetrack and it goes right over my house and goes right over Jess's house, so if it's gonna be collaboration. Then I would like to have to say where, fireworks go.
So last
Definitely.
time they did it down there, they did it down in fair parking lot.
Yeah.
There was.
Correct.
Yeah, down
Understood.
by where they park the trailers and stuff like that, kind of.
Right, and it scared, that was when we were parking cars, and you remember that, scared the living.
Yeah, they put them off. right?
Yeah, so I think Scott's referring to like when we last had the big July 4th festival, they did it in like the field
Okay.
area.
Yeah, it was down past where they, like where the vendors parked.
Okay.
So
Like where the
you-
campers are.
Yeah, like almost where the campers are. They call it the M lot. It was just west of the M lot. Is where they had it, was back in that area. Kind of kept it away from everybody. We had the appropriate setback areas by the shooters for what they needed. Yeah.
All right. All right, any other questions? Lisa?
The amount that I did get from Sky Shooters, the quote was 8,000 plus a tariff fee, due to that increase, so it'd be 8,950 if council's interested in a July 2nd or July 5th show. And I think the lowest quote for drones I have for July 3rd, it's $40,000. And it's 150 drones, not 200.
Okay. There it is. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye, opposed, thank you. Item 3 is other business. Item A is approval of entering into a mutual termination and release agreement with True North.
Move to approve.
Seconded. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye, opposed, thank you.
Could I ask to, on, the last one there, is that a contribution? And I don't know if we had a contribution in the motion, just so I don't have to keep putting it on an agenda.
Contribute what we got, what we were gonna pay.
Oh, I took it as contributor of $10,000 of repairs.
Okay,
Did
We need
anybody
to
else have
amend,
different?
that was what I assumed, yeah.
So I thought it
Do we need to amend it? Are you
You
good?
guys?
Matt, do you want a new motion in that, or?
No, I think that was- I think that was the motion that was originally made.
Well, that's, I think what Lisa's getting at, is we're not looking to help plan this, we're hoping to contribute to them having a good event.
Right.
Is what I thought I was voting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
So $10,000,
that was my understanding.
okay. What I'll do is I'll also work, an item out with our band, because there was a 50% deposit, so I don't think they secured all their bands, so I'll see if we can do something in that way.
Okay.
That was Top Hat, Ostrich, yeah.
All right, okay. Item B then is approval of a Baylor service quote. Did we vote on the, we did vote first.
Yes.
Wrong, okay.
Yep.
Approval of Baylor service quote from BE Equipment Inc. in the amount of $14,535. And this will be paid under recycling.
So moved.
Second.
Whichever one you know.
Okay. Charlie?
So basically, if you look at what we replaced last year was the main ramp that squishes everything, puts the power to it. Outside of that, on top of the hydraulic oil tank is the machine that takes the power and pushes it from the main ram, ejector ram, and all the solenoids that make that happen. Which our baler's not building the pressure up to 3,200 pounds to push out the bales, and it's only going half that. It's been diagnosed, we have them come in and diagnose where the problem seat. So what their quote's gonna do is take this piece off. I mean, it's gonna need the forklift and a winch to get it off, it's heavy. And pull it off, take it back to their site, get inside the machine where they clean those cylinders out, like, you know, I have the bolts that are this big, so it's not something you really can do on site and stuff, so it'll be taken back to their shop over the weekend, brought back to Monday, so we hope they'll only maybe 2 half days of service and getting it back in the operations and stuff, but yeah, that's basically what it is how the hydraulic gets the thrust to push things out, so, you know, different thing every day.
Thanks, Liz. Okay, any other questions?
No.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item C is an update on the zoning amendment.
After, I believe, the last council meeting, Mike had sent me over some additional changes or comments that council wanted made. I'll make those changes, get them back to Mike. Make sure those are accurate. Don't send them to the planning commission for review, both planning commissions.
That was specific to the signs in the MX one.
Right. While we're here, before we send anything to the planning commission, I don't recall seeing data centers specified in our chart.
No.
It has not, Matt and I talked a while back about this, if there was an inquiry somewhere in town about it. never really went any further than that, so I pitched it out. I don't think that's part of the conversation. I guess I'll let Matt talk on that, but, I didn't see it.
That's not in the ordinance. If there's a request for a data center that comes in, they would could come in for a probably use not otherwise provided. However, that's addressed in the ordinance, or they could make a curative amendment challenge and council could amend.
We've been through that. I don't think we want to do it again.
Well, no, but what you could do when they file their curative amendment challenge is you can declare the ordinance not valid on that particular point and draft your amendment at that point in time. So I guess the question is now, do you want to take that step and go backwards and draft an amendment now for data centers, which is going to delay the process a little bit more? Because when we were involved in this 5 or 6 months ago, data centers probably weren't even on the radar list.
Well, I just know there's so much movement from the state, both ways as far as having model ordinances that can be put out there. I think if we're gonna open up our zoning for the time that we're, you know, for what we're doing, if it's a matter of having a definition in the chart and a place in our, you know, whatever zone we wanna say they're allowed in, wouldn't that make sense to do now?
Well, it's more than just a definition in a place. You have to
Okay.
probably put specific standards in, and depending upon how stringently you want to regulate them and where they're going to be. If you want to do it, you could do it now. So.
So we did reach out, I had an email with Jonas, the DCD specialist, so we do have draft, amendments ready to go. He sent over, Montour and then also another township, Waverly. So those are recommended by the state. So we do have those ready to go if council wishes to go forward, but like Matt said, you would have to pick the district and have it overlaid probably of even the zoning map.
Yeah, you probably, well, not necessarily an overlay, but how they're gonna, what zones they're going to be in, more than likely, you know. And in some of those zones may not be particularly appropriate entirely for data centers, so you may have to do a data center overlay district. It depends. It depends on where the council would decide where they're gonna go. Or where they would be appropriate.
Okay.
But you don't think that they're. What's your opinion on moving this forward now? Because we've been wanting to get this ball rolling for a while now. We've put a lot of work into this. Should we? Go now? I mean, I agree with your opinion that if somebody came tomorrow, we can deal with it accordingly, but then we're reacting rather than being proactive.
Right. Well, I guess, you know, you can do either process. If you wanted to make sure it was comprehensive and addressed, you would put provisions in there now to address data center ordinances.
Right.
And then, you know, obviously I have a number of data center ordinances that I've worked on before. And, you know, we could use that language, but then of course it's gotta come back to council for review before it can go out. You know, to the planning commissions. A big part of that is where are these going to be?
Right.
So.
You always say it can't happen until the university sells off land or something happens where it's like, oh, yeah, we didn't think about that.
Well, and just for, I guess, the new folks, when there was some exploration into like what other areas could be used for things. When we talked a little bit about controlled environment farming. That only spaces that seem to meet the requirements were at the top of the hill up here, which is university land in the airport. Well, the airport we can't do anything with, so I'm not worried about anything going down there. That's a whole different, you know, scenario.
Right.
What about all that farmland that's down? Off the Fort before?
Yeah.
Right?
Someone would have to sell it to them and, you know, I don't know if they're gonna wanna put one in a floodplain. I mean, it's next to the water, but yeah.
I mean, that might be our saving grace.
When you're cool.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, because if you can't build in a floodplain, then you're creating a zoning ordinance that's exclusionary, because you can't build in the flood zone. Without probably getting whatever relief you need under the ordinance to do that.
We are recording the town meetings, so.
Yes.
This is an important town subject.
Yep, I just wanna say like, that's part of the thought process.
Is onto itself, someone putting up a building and putting using it for a data center, different than putting up a building and using it for a warehouse?
The exterior appearances are very similar, however, the impacts could be different depending upon noise and things like that. So that's why a lot of the data center ordinances have very specific requirements in terms of setbacks, noise from property lines, things like that.
Water usage, electric.
Well, this is still, I mean, there's other amendments that we would make to this. This is sort of the first round that we would, you know, put forward to correct some of the glaring things that we've come across. Since, we initially opened this up, so. I think we should probably move this forward and get working on this on the side, so that we're ready for whenever the next round comes up, that we have something that we. You know, put through the process, they get it through. But there are lots of standard ordinances that we can pull from. But let's get that on our radar. Does anybody feel differently?
No.
Okay. Anything else to update then, Matt?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Item D is approval of closing down event space of West 9th Street between Market and Iron Street for the Lewisburg Fire Department car crews in from May 1st.
I'll move to approve.
Second, any concern? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Yeah, do the same thing for May 2nd.
I'll move to approve. Yes.
Do the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item F is approval of releasing the financial security for McDonald's at 945 Columbia Boulevard in the amount of $8,431.50. Note, this site differs from what was depicted on the approved recorded plan. Ownership has changed and the time on the developer's agreement has lapsed.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
I'll move to approve.
Moved and seconded. What's the explanation here? I mean, I know that we've been holding on to this over landscaping, right?
Yeah, so in 2017, I believe, when that project was going through, there's a certain amount of time for the site development to occur. That time has lapsed and we still have the financial security held at the bank. The municipality typically is the one that sends the letter, so that's just to clean it up. And speaking with Matt Trowski, the best way to clean that up is the motion here this evening. It complicates things because the property owners have changed, so the funds would be going back to the prior property owner.
What's the point of keeping this if we can just, if they just wait it out and we give them their money back?
We need to have the staff do their job and follow-ups on it, so we have new procedures in place for that.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item G is approval of entering into a letter of agreement for strategic management planning, with Caperlin Strategies in the amount not to exceed $80,050.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns? This is about the STAMP program. This is a 5-year program. Where the town can receive up to $1 million, for a group project, from that Caperlin group. After they do their, studies into areas that they see improvement in town. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item H is approval to accept bids until March 19th, 2026 for the construction East Terminal taxiways and T-hanger project for the under drain and airfield electrical.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And this is part of the grant that we had for hangar construction.
Correct. Yep, the way the grants are structured, there's a grant coming up due, so in order to utilize all the funds, Delta, our airport consultant, is recommending to separate it out and do the sediment control for the taxiway. That way we don't lose out on anything.
Okay. And what's the split on these as far as federal and state money?
We got a lot of different grants. Right now we have a $200,000 LSA grant, local share statewide, and then we also have the infrastructure bill grant. And then we also have BOA and FAA money, 95.5% split. So we have a little bit of everything, and then council did a small contribution for local for about 70,000 of the project.
All right. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? You,
Before we move on, can I ask an airport-related question?
Alice Valley?
I was reviewing, looking at the lease that was included in the paperwork you sent.
Correct. That is on for executive session this evening.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, item, I is approval of payment to Ritu for revisions required for the Public Works electrical panel in the amount of $8,900.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Brady? Lisa, what's up with this?
Yeah, so Brady and I had a good discussion with Barry Izett. This would have been something that should have been maybe caught in 2025, but we are now receiving that documentation here in 2026. Due to the bid not having, the carport structure at Public Works, the electrical load was done for both the Public Works structure and the carport. So that electrical drawing had to go back to Ritu to have that redone. But we are paying Barry Izett for the oversight of that. There's a conversation ongoing with Barry Izett. We held all invoices from January start, until everything is rectified, so.
Any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item J is approval to change orders with ARK Contracting LLC and Sunfold Solar. Have a good evening, thank you, folks. Yep.
All those are first. Second.
Okay, moved and seconded.
So this one is mostly probably due to the weather, but no change orders came before council, so this would be taking the project and putting it out let me go to the paper. Change order for May 8th, so that would be the new completion date. That's for Sunpole Solar, and then ARK is gonna be taking it out to April 10th. So the hope is they get the work done. I know Brady flagged some safety concerns at Public Works, so they put in some, I guess, safety precautions there. But they
They
are
have to, yeah.
working there. So we're
They've been
seeing
up on the roof
progress.
this week.
Yeah, they've almost got the front up.
Okay.
They're moving, but. Going fast. But they're working.
Well,
There were no costs involved in these changes.
No, they're not change orders with monetary values. They're just dates. Date changes.
good. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item K is a discussion and approval of voting delegates for the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs. Cost of attending is $25 a person, and the hotel stay is $179 and $209.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. We've never sent anybody.
We never did, but
have
I
no
know,
interest.
I know Chris and Karen came back very much energized from the boot camp, so I didn't wanna just delete an email that I
Thanks a
received.
lot.
And I know, and I was like, I already told her today, I'm not interested, not this year.
So I didn't wanna delete it, and then they saw it and wanted to participate, so it's on the agenda.
Anyone else that consider this?
I mean, what is it?
It's basically the annual conference. It is being held at Hershey Lodge this year from May 30th through June 3rd. Basically, we would have voting delegate rights. We would pick 2 people. And a lot of times you see other council members or staff there at the conference. They might have legal sessions. There's some police chiefs that attend. But it's basically the hot topics that are happening in 2026. So probably they'll have a session about data centers.
You wanna raise your hand and be like, we're in town, how do we do it? On everything?
Like we did, we're like, we're like, no, they offered that up, they were like, oh, except for you, Bloomsburg. Yeah, except for you, Bloomsburg.
Okay, there's no interest,
I have no interest in anything else.
then we'll just let time. All right,
There is a
I did the boot
motion.
camp.
We did a motion, so we have to,
Oh,
vote.
okay.
Did you do it?
That's the finish.
Okay.
I did the boot camp virtually,
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
and it was interesting. I wouldn't say energized, I came out of it, energy. But
I just had a lot of questions.
I, um,
That's kind of.
but the woman who was, her name doesn't make a difference. I will give her a lot of credit because she did 3 of the 4 sessions, so she spoke for like 9 hours over days.
Yeah, we had one guy doing most of the talking.
I mean, there's a lot of, a lot of
good
interesting
information.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily wound to sit for that long, but it was. The best part was when I just put my earbuds in and took a walk listening to it.
Next time virtual.
There was no video aspect of it, so it was just hearing.
Oh.
It was worthwhile.
Yeah, good, good, okay. So he wants to go, that's what I'm hearing.
No.
Yeah.
So it was moved and seconded, though, so we do need to vote on it. Okay, so just a reminder, doesn't seem anyone's interested. All in favor, please say aye.
I. No.
No.
You're supposed to say no.
I'm sorry, I thought we were proved that we would somebody if they wanted to go.
No.
No.
second.
Sorry, start again.
Okay,
Rewind, just drop.
all in favor, please say aye. All opposed?
Yay.
Okay, thank you.
I was just.
You really try.
Keep these people on.
Okay. Under old business, there's approval of payment application 1 and 2 for Robert C. Young. Motion should state the amount of payment. Council reserves the right to pay partial. If any motion council looking to make at their public meeting should certainly include a reservation by indicating that the town reserves and does not waive all rights and remedies provided by contract, statute, common law, or otherwise.
Still tabling this?
The recommendation is to table until we get a geotech service on board. It's before you on every council agenda, just in case there is that chance that you want to pay out. The last payment, was close to $100,000, so there is still a payment being held. I would not advocate for any, motion to move it forward until we get the geotech service done. The change order 3 is basically accepting that the project is finalized, and I would not recommend that as either, so. I don't know, Brady was down at the courts today, so.
Yeah, I found an interesting thing down there. It was I don't know, probably 1-inch round circle, looked like a boulder. I wanted to feel it, like 1 inch, maybe like 1 inch. And it was like a Play-Doh. I don't know what it was or but anyways, yeah, there's that new thing down there, so. We're putting the fence up tomorrow, so that'll be back up the wall for security reasons, stuff like that.
Are we putting more sandbags down?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna make sure that fence
Just
is
asking.
the way it should have been.
I have been corresponding with Robert C. Young. I've been copying Justin and Jacqueline on those emails, but I did provide an update, of where we're at.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna say this is the last meeting I'm willing to take this. Like, we've got geotech coming, but this has gone on long enough. These folks deserve some money, I think. That's my opinion.
I will say from a geotech standpoint, even Benesh had weighed in, we can't perform the service until the ground actually thawed out, so that's why there was the delay.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
where this is my.
Alright.
Yeah. But we've been talking about this
Forever.
December, so. Anyway. Okay, so is there no motion on old business? Do we want it to table that again? Let's these aren't really appearing as. Motion.
It's up to council. You can provide a motion, and if not, there's no
Okay,
motion.
then we're just going forward. Okay, all right. Does anyone want to offer a motion? Okay. Then can I have, are we looking for an executive session afterward?
Yep. There is, yeah.
Okay.
I
That's fine,
think
yeah.
like.
Staff to be heard.
What?
I said staff to be heard.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So this, not that this is newsworthy, but I just kind of wanted to put it out as a department head. I plan on departing town service in the first half of May. So I kind of wanted to give council the update that they have time to look for somebody with the upcoming busy summer season. I'm happy to help with that transition any way possible, but I kind of wanted to put it out there. It was a little too late for this meeting. And I won't be able to attend the next meeting. I'll be out of town, but I want to get the courtesy of council to have a better part of the 2-month reason for that, so they can adequately find someone. That's all.
I don't know how many, like, called me earlier today, so, I just wanna thank you for, A, the advance notice, and thank you for the service that you provided over the last couple of years. I think that the department's in good shape under your leadership, and I appreciate, the cooperation moving forward. Okay, is there anything else for the good of the order?
We talking about parking on East South Street again,
Of what?
parking on East South.
Sure.
It's just getting out of hand. And then, you know, there's 4 businesses in that building now.
Yeah.
And it's just, parking is terrible down there. Any ideas what they gotta do about that?
Is it parking on the street or is it parking in the, on the park?
They park in the grass, they park wherever.
Well, I mean, if they're parking on private property, if the owner calls, of course, we'll go out and ticket them. You know, if they're parking on the property that's owned by whoever owns that dance studio, there's not a whole lot we can do about that, because that's their business. But certainly if there's an issue with parking, I mean, call when they're parked out there. I know we've tried to address like some of the concerns out there with the stop sign violations and the speed. We just recently put the speed trailer out there, trying to help out a little bit and to see what kind of speeds we're seeing and kind of the traffic, pattern out there, whether it's, heavier at night, during the day, what the speeds are at different times of day.
Yeah.
So I mean, certainly call whenever you see an issue.
Is there, can anybody just park alongside a road if it's not a parking spot necessarily though, or?
I mean,
You know, we've had people who come in like, people park in front of my house, well, there's parking spots for your house, not your parking.
there's parking spots, so there's parking areas out there. There's no signs that prohibit them from doing it.
Okay,
It comes as like similar to what it was down at, the covered bridge. We had to put signs down there for no parking. So if there's areas that we're gonna designate no parking, we would have to do that.
okay, by ordinance.
I mean, there's some nights, the way they park, you couldn't get a fire truck down through there if you had to. They won't leave, barely, won't leave.
During the pickup and drop off, or are they there for hours at a time?
Some of them are there for hours.
Well, but is a dangerous situation persisted for a long period of time?
I mean, I can't get on the driveway half the time.
Call the cops, don't.
Yeah.
Well, I took it upon myself. I went out there last week and I sat out there 3 different nights with Bill. And we sat there and we watched. And at different times, there was, I guess classes leaving at different times. So I went at one night, I went at 6:15 and sat for about 1 hour and a half, maybe each time we were there.
Yeah.
And then one night we went at 5:15, and then one night I went at 7:15. And one night I pulled into his driveway. I was sitting in his driveway with a truck. And it was basically pickup time for one of the classes leaving out. And there was a truck come by and just parked right in the middle of the road, just parked there.
Oh my.
Sat there. And I'm trying to back out of the driveway. He had to walk out in the middle of the street to kind of guide me out of his driveway just to get out of the place. And everything they've come here and complained about, these 7th Street residents, has happened. I sit there and watch them all. They speed, they fly out that street. The neighbor had people parking right in front of their driveway. If he'd have come home at that time, it is what
Are
it
they
is.
getting out of their cars? Or are they waiting for their kids to come out?
A lot of them get out of their cars, so they go in and get the kids and come out, but you don't know that, you know.
Yeah,
But I think the biggest problem is the buildings itself. I think Bill and I discussed this. You have to sit and watch it. But there's not enough parking. I have no idea why the parents feel the need to stay there with their child the whole time they're in this thing. And that's what creates the problem. Is some of the parents drop the kids off, then come back. If they had a drop off and pick up zone, that would be great. But it's the parents that think they have to stay there with their kid the whole time in all these classes. And like you said, we have these 4 different classes going on out there. And It is, it's a huge, I mean, it's great to have this problem, but he needs a solution out there. That area really is in desperate need. The last night I went out, there was a car in the neighbor's unit and with the melted snow and everything, it parked right in the ground. You know, and you can go out there right now and look at all the ruts and they dig up, these people got all kind of yard work to do now.
What could help is sidewalks and curbs and line painting and, you know, designated no parking zones.
I don't think a lot of this, I would say it's.
You can't tell people that they can't use the road, it's public road.
I understand that, I know,
Okay.
but you can't park in people's yards.
Yeah.
The guy that parked behind me, parked in the middle of the street, just sat there, I mean, for 15-20 minutes in the street, in the lane.
Did you call cops?
I didn't, not till I was ready to get out. I mean, I was ready to get out.
15 minutes.
The cops,
You have his phone number, call him.
2 of the 3 nights.
No, please call the non-emergency number, 784-6300.
2 of the 3 nights, the police did go by.
Okay.
At different times. So the police are out there, I understand they can't be there. At, you know, and watch it. It's just.
I don't keep beating the dead, I'm just telling you how.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Well, but this is, I think, what we talked about the first time, is if they're parking in your yard, you gotta call the
Yeah.
police. You
Yeah.
can't, you know, be there all the time, but certainly.
It's a
nice
that's
ticket,
unacceptable. Yeah.
It's a nice ticket that they give out for parking on private property.
Yeah.
$50,
I think it's 40 or 50.
Still pretty good. That's enough to turn eight.
We do have the active multimodal, with that submission, we did hear from the citizens, so there was a difference to the application to make parking on the north side.
Okay,
So if we would get it, that would maybe help.
well, we got that iron and fire, but yeah, I mean, in the short term, just keep ticketing. Until they're gonna change their behavior. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's your property.
Put spikes up.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Brady's crew did put out the street signs, for the miles per hour 25, so that is, I think they put like 5 or 6 throughout that whole area.
Chief, when will you collect the data out of the?
Probably this week. No, let me rephrase it. This week, I will collect it at the end of the week so we can move the trailer down the Fifth Street Railroad.
Okay. Can you shoot that around to us once it gets processed?
Sure.
Great.
Yeah, did you sit there, I'd sit there with it like, woo. That's the card flying.
Okay. Anything else? Can I have a motion to adjourn to executive session
So moved.
to discuss, the airport matter, yeah, legal matters.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
We need a 2-minute break.
Good.